All right, just as a reminder, we definitely want to know that it's a support situation, but also remember to stay focused on the hypothesis, right? We don't need to learn how to cook this food. We just need to know what this guy says about it. Roasted green chilies are a popular ingredient in Southwestern cuisine, but the traditional roasting method of burning propane is not environmentally friendly. To see if solar power could provide a better alternative, engineer Kenneth Armhio and his team roasted batches of green chilies using between 38 and 42 heliostats, which are devices that concentrate sunlight. To be clear, we have not gotten to his hypothesis yet, so we're just talking about his process. The team was successful in reaching the same roasting temperature used in traditional propane roasting, but they found that propane yielded faster results. While the fastest solar roasted green chilies took 6 minutes, batches using propane took only 4. Armio hypothesizes that they can reduce the roasting time for solar roasted green chilies by using more heliostats. So more heliostats reduces the time. Right? This is those ups and downs that we've seen in some of the logic questions as well. I think with science, this is something we can use. So we need to support that. So I don't know, is there anything about them raising heliostats or lowering the time? Let's take a look. A, the temperature inside the roasting drum is distributed more evenly when roasting green chilies with solar power than with propane. Is it not talking about the heliostats? It's not talking about the time. I don't know. Seems wrong. B, attempts to roast green chilies using 50 heliostats yield results in fewer than 6 minutes. Well, that sounds like a lower time, right? Is this more heliostats? Well, let's see. They said before that they used between 38 and 42, so that seems more, and fewer than 6 minutes. What was the time before? Well, it was 6 minutes. So if you use 50, that's more. And then if it's less than 6 minutes, that's less. That's less time. So this seems right. Obviously, we have to read C and D, but I would be pretty darn convinced already that that's the answer. C, green chili connoisseurs prefer the flavor of solar roasted green chilies over the flavor. It's not about the flavor. Who cares? D, the skins of solar roasted green chilies are easier to peel. Who cares? Yeah, doesn't matter, right? Those are comparisons, and they're comparisons that we don't want to make, right? It's just not part of the passage. We don't care about how they taste. We don't care about the skins. It just wasn't brought up. And maybe that's obvious to you, but I think it's worth remembering that the reason that comparisons are generally wrong is that many of them are just obvious, but some of them won't be. And so noticing a comparison is more of a skill, actually, I should say it this way. Noticing that there's a comparison and answer choice is the more valuable skill than just having a vague feeling oh, they didn't talk about this, right? That's easy to notice sometimes when they bring up something they didn't talk about, but it doesn't always have that sort of obvious kind of, standing out that it's wrong. So better to get in the habit of noticing when a choice is composed of a comparison, because that will probably be obvious. Even if the topic of the comparison isn't really obviously wrong, you still might be able to be oh, but now if I go and check, I can see that it is wrong, right? And not all comparisons are going to be wrong. It really depends on the context. So at least we have something to check for. But here, gosh, this is so easy. I can't imagine anyone getting this wrong. If you do, it's because you're trying to think about the recipe or your own experience with green chilies. Just stick to what they say. They literally gave us a very clear summary that we would just steal, and then it appears in the answer choices, right? Sometimes we add new information to these passages. Most of the time, though, we're just very clearly sticking to what they gave us.